One of the reasons that home buyers postpone their home ownership dreams is because it's difficult sometimes to save for a down payment. But what if I told you that there was a way that you can come up with little to no money out of your pocket and actually get into a home? Sound interested? Well, stay tuned because I'm going to get into it right now. Hey everybody, Dietric Williams, realtor with Compass, Baldwin Hills, California. Welcome back to another edition of Info on the Go, the show where I give tips, tricks, and insight on how to buy, sell, or invest in real estate the easy way. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so that you're notified every time I upload new content to YouTube. Now, what I'm going to talk about today is down payment assistance programs, and these sometimes get a bad rap from real estate agents, sellers, and other people who shall remain nameless, but they are a great way for some of you who may not be able to afford the lofty cost of living in a place like California to actually be able to purchase a home. So there are over 2,000 down payment assistance programs across the nation. Many of these down payment assistance programs are what I'm going to call DPAs, just to keep it simple. Offer help with down payment, closing costs, and those usually come in the form of what's called a second mortgage or a silent second, and sometimes a grant. Now, some of these grants come with higher interest rates, so it may not necessarily be free money, but it could be discounted. Other times, these silent seconds may have to be repaid if you sell the house, if you refinance, or if you decide that you're going to rent it out where there's a change of occupancy. No matter where you are, DPAs are pretty much available everywhere because every state has what's called a housing finance agency, or HFA for short. However, some of these programs are local or community programs. For example, there's the Georgia Dream Home Ownership Program in Georgia. In California, we have CalHFA, and then you also have entities like NACA. And most of these DPAs are fully funded, so I'm going to encourage you, take advantage while it's still there. Now, some of these programs are going to require you to attend an 8-hour homebuyer education workshop. Don't worry, most of them are split into 2 4-hour sessions, usually on alternative weekends or maybe alternative months. Also, some of the municipal programs are based on fiscal year cycles. So you just want to keep that in mind when you're going to apply, because if you go to apply toward the end of the fiscal year, there may not be funds available for you. Other requirements are that these have to be owner occupied, so no investors. You may have to fall into certain income requirements, and you still got to qualify for a mortgage. So you're going to have to get your financial and credit house in order so that you can qualify for these programs. There's typically 3 types of homebuyer programs. You have DPAs, you have the affordable first mortgage, and then you have the mortgage credit certificate. And I'll talk about each one of these. Now, DPAs are the most common, and these are funded by governments or nonprofit organizations. And I kind of talked about what those entail, so they could come in the form of silent seconds or grants. So these silent second mortgages can have 0 interest or market rate interest. It really just kind of depends on what the program is and what you qualify for. So you just want to look out for that. But DPA programs are a great tool to use if you're either strapped for liquid cash or you just want to reserve the savings that you've built up over time. And you typically can use these for your down payment, your closing costs, any type of prepaid expenses, or there's a way that you can pay down other expenses like mortgage insurance or cover a portion of the seller's closing costs, which could help get your deals accepted. Now, the second is the affordable first mortgage, and these usually come with reduced interest rates, plus they have reduced mortgage insurance costs. Now, these you can layer with DPA programs within the same agency. Sometimes other agencies will allow you to do it, or you can layer it with the MCC. So for example, if you live in California, there's something called the AgenciesHFA Platinum Program, which offers up to 5% down payment assistance. So you can layer that with the conventional loan that offers 3% down payment. That AgenciesHFA Platinum Program can cover the down payment, leaving you 2% left over, which you can use toward your closing costs. Or you may be able to use it to prepay for your mortgage insurance. Remember, because if you're not putting 20% down, you're going to get hit with what's called mortgage insurance. That's just the way for the lender to insure the loan because you're not putting a lot of skin in the game. But there's a way that you can prepay down that expense. And if you can use some of these DPA programs to do that, I would highly encourage you to look into it. Now, the mortgage credit certificate comes from either the state or local housing finance agencies. And this comes in the form of a tax credit. It's not a deduction, it's a tax credit. This offsets the mortgage insurance cost over the life of the loan. And you still can take an additional deduction after you've taken the credit. So here's how it works. Let's say you have a home price of $500,000 and your first mortgage has an interest rate of 3%. That's $15,000 in interest for the first year. Suppose the MCC will allow you to claim 20% of the interest as a tax credit. That means your tax bill gets lowered by $3,000. The remaining $12,000 in mortgage interest can still be claimed as an itemized mortgage interest deduction. Now, I'm not a tax professional or CPA, so you're gonna have to meet with one of those type of professionals to understand what the ramifications are for how much you can actually deduct after you take the credit. I know I went through this pretty fast, and it's not that easy in terms of what programs are out there, because remember, I told you there's over 2,000 of these programs that are out there across the country. So you're gonna have to do your due diligence in terms of finding out what's out there, but you wanna make sure that when you speak to a lender that they are versed in any one of these DPA programs that could help you get into home ownership, right? So I'm going to leave some links at the bottom so that you can find out about down payment resources where you are. All you gotta do is click the link, it opens up the URL, put your state in there, it'll tell you all the things that are in your area, and then you just wanna find a lender or a broker who is versed in these areas that can walk you through the process, because if they're not versed, it can be a disaster for you. Also, if you're interested in other types of DPA programs, you probably wanna check out this video I did on NACA right here.